Hello there. Just stretching to put my phone down. And my chair is quite squeaky. So I guess it's Monday and we're back for another stream. I better just quick test the sound. Yeah, that's working. I'm going to be giving people I usually give people about 10 minutes to join. Sometimes it goes to 20 depending on how much talking we're doing. I'll give people 10 minutes to join us and then we'll get started on this week's commentary. Doing chapter 9 and 10 of Heir to the Empire. And these are two of my favourite chapters in the series so far. So it's going to be good to talk about them. They're also much more fresh in my mind compared to some of the older chapters. Floopy, welcome. I guess you can see which chapters we're going to be doing commentary on today. James and the Durek, welcome. Thank you for coming and joining us for today's stream. Now, I'm not going to be streaming for too long because I've actually injured my knee, so I've kind of got it propped up to rest it, but it's not the most comfortable position to sit at my computer for a long period of time, so we'll get through these two chapters and then I'll head off. Izzy, welcome. Someone whose name I'm sorry, I'm not going to try and pronounce that, but my knee's not so good, but otherwise I'm fine. Grand Admiral Thrawn, nice to see you here. It's getting better. I'm not quite sure how I injured it, but it was quite painful to walk yesterday. Today it's doing better, but I'm still trying to keep it rested until it gets better properly. Yesterday, if I had been meant to have streamed yesterday, I would not have. So today is definitely an improvement, because I could not have sat at the computer for long enough to talk about these. That's very kind of you. Accuracy is very important, I think. Floopy, thank you. I just kind of submitted it on a whim and then got a very quick response, which I was very happy about. James, yeah, it's important to me to tell the story as close to the book as possible. So I know not everything works. Not everything in the book works as a video, so I do have to make some adjustments. But when I do that, I think it's still important to try and get it as close to the book as possible, or the spirit of the book, or at least what I think Timothy Zahn would do if he was writing it as a video format rather than a novel. At least I try to. I mean, I'm sure that there are things he would probably do differently to what I'm doing, and it is his story after all. Thomas, welcome. Yes, I haven't got started on the commentary just yet. Um, so it's the Liftoff Festival is a they do festivals all around the world. The Berlin one was the first one of the year, so I submitted it through Film Freeway, which is a good website to check out film festivals, and it makes submitting very painless. You do have to pay to submit to most festivals, and some are way beyond my price range, but luckily Liftoff Film Festival was quite affordable, so I thought it was worth giving it a shot, and of course was selected, so I'm very happy. Who would make a good live action Tron? I'm hoping for Lars Mikkelsen. Izzy, that's quite a talent your friend has. Yeah. Green Man, welcome. So I'm going to get started at 10 past, so we've got 3 more minutes before I press the play button. Hopefully I got the volume of the video set right, so you can still hear it, but sort of faintly, and I can hear it, but you'll be able to hear me talking over it. I hope everyone's had a good weekend so far. So, Lars Mikkelsen is the voice actor of Thrawn in Rebels, but he one of the reasons he got the part was he played a very similar character to Thrawn in Sherlock in season 3. I believe it's season 3. And that's the only thing I've seen. No, he was in. That's not true. He was also in The Witcher. He played a wizard. I can't remember the name of the character now. But anyway, he was in Sherlock, and the way that they structured Thrawn's face in Rebels is a very similar face shape to Lars Mikkelsen. And I think they did that deliberately so that if they ever did take him to a live action, they've got and he would be the actor that they approached. James, yeah, thank you for confirming that. He plays Stregobar is the Witcher character. I don't remember. I watched the show and I really enjoyed it, but I don't remember the names of most of the characters. I've only watched it through the once, and I think, yeah, when I watched that first episode, that episode that he was in, I was having, I think I had a cold or something, so I didn't take it quite as well, take it all in as well as I should have done. I guess I should watch it again at some point. But he played Magnuson in Sherlock. And Dave Filoni saw that and knew that he was the guy to be Thrawn. And when you hear him talking in the episodes, he's doing the Thrawn voice. Yeah. I think he shows up briefly in a later episode as well, but his big appearance was in that first episode. Right, so we are at 10 minutes past, which I think is a good time to get started on this commentary. I've been looking forward to talking about this episode because it's one of my favourite episodes so far. And because of the big space battle. So, let's get started. Turn it up just a little bit. one of my goals with this project was to try and emulate the look of the model work.
The Heir is fully at your command, Admiral.
Excellent.
Let me make it full screen.
Master Sabayoth, are my other two
The model work that
task
the original
forces
Treasure
ready?
used for their space shots. You know, getting all the lighting to make the ships look like plastic and all that kind of stuff. And I think this chapter, well, a little bit in the previous chapter as well, but I think this one I really finally got it to where I wanted it to be.
All fighters, launch.
It was fun pretending to be on the bridge of a Star Destroyer when it was actually my living room. The New Republic X-Wings.
Respond.
Defending fighters launching from the third
I was
moon.
inspired by the
Get a location on that
X-Wing
fighter base
customization in
and
Squadrons.
detail the inexorable to
I've been
reveal
reading about
and destroy.
how they were going to handle that, and I thought, well, I should have some fun with custom textures for X-Wings as well. So I came up with the New Republic design myself. I thought, like blue, that kind of bluish colour would be good for New Republic. I do have some Z95 Headhunter models, but
Change course for the farther of the two planets.
I thought I'd go with the
Judicates will
X-Wings
take
for
the
that. There are some Z95s. I think there's Z95s. I can't remember now. Later on in the chapter. It's not Blue Squadron, it's just the New Republic livery. It's kind of generic.
Any special orders?
Yes. You can see the Chimera design. The
Stay
idea
with
of that
Crow.
was to make it very easy for the audience to see which was the
But
Chimera in
remind
these
our
big
gunners
battles.
that the plan is to hurt and frighten, not obliterate.
Relay out.
I'm pleased with the way I got the battles. You kind of see small skirmishes, then it suddenly really opens up. And this shot was great to do as well, with the city being bombarded. It gets mentioned in the book, but you don't actually see it. But I thought you kind of need to see the effect that Thrawn is having.
Master Sabayoth, what's the status of the attacks?
Actually,
in other systems?
that platform goes back even further. That to the X-Wing
Proceed.
games. They first appeared in TIE
Are you
Fighter.
alright, Master Sabayoth?
Save your concern, Captain. He's doing what he enjoys most. Controlling people.
I told you once, Grand Admiral, that is not
The
true power.
XQ platforms. There's
So you
5 different
say.
ones.
Can you tell
But
what
more or less
sort
the same,
of resistance
design.
they're facing?
3 platforms around a circular core.
Not precisely, but neither force is in danger. That much I can feel in their minds.
So we've got some miscellaneous fighters here. No, I didn't put Z95s there. This is getting a shot of Sabayoth, what he's really doing. This is quite a tricky one to figure out, was how do I show... So in the book, Pelion is watching Sabayoth and thinking about what he's seeing and realising that Sabayoth is having a huge impact, but actually showing that in the video form was quite tricky to figure out, but I think it worked. I don't have a release date for chapter 12 yet. So earlier on I mentioned that I've got a bad knee, so I can't do any motion capture until that's better,
We've
and I can't
pinpointed
sit
the
at the
location
computer
of the
for
distress transmission.
long periods of time until that's better.
Will be long
They are
gone
Carrack
before
cruisers.
any reinforcements
It was again
have
mentioned in the book, 2
We might
old
as well
Carrack cruisers
let
came up from the
Berlin waste
surface,
its resources, rushing useless forces to the
so I
rescue.
thought that's a little detail that needs
In
to
fact, I believe it's time for us to take our leave.
be included.
Order our squadrons back and all ships jump to light speed as soon as the fighters are aboard.
White Belt Boy, thank you for
Order the
passing
other
by.
two task forces to break off their
You
attacks
can
as well.
After the stream's finished,
I presume you
it
are
will
in
automatically
close
be added
enough
to the channel, so if
contact to
you
do
want to
that.
catch up with it later
You
on, you can do
question
that.
me too much, Grand Admiral Thrawn. Far too much.
I question all that is not yet familiar to me. Have there been any further
Yeah,
leads on those
I was thinking about the bombardment
I
of
think the
Yukio,
Osthegan
and
system's our best bet.
it's going to be a while
Grand
before I get to
Admiral
that,
Thrawn,
Yes, Master Samuel.
but it did give me an
one of
idea of
my
how I would pull
Jedi,
that off when the
Grand
time
Admiral.
comes.
You promised me that your
How many times have I read the
Taden
Thrawn
Ogre
trilogy?
would bring them to me.
That's a good question.
Patience,
I don't have an
Master
answer.
Samuel. They await the proper time to act.
That's
The
how many
time of
times it's
this
been. I
pursuit.
don't remember how many times.
I grow tired of waiting.
As do we all.
So the day after I
wonder what
uploaded this
exactly
video
Grand Admiral Thrawn is
and set the premiere date, I found a much better wildcard 3D model,
We'll make our
which
deal
was
in a week.
quite irritating. But
The
I'll
whole system
use
is
it
expecting
next
a
time.
hornet's nest of New Republic ships. Not a situation we really want
I haven't
to
read
fly
the.
into.
I'm still
And
reading the
I'm sure
new
our clients prefer
Thrawn
making
book,
a
so
fight
I can't comment
to
on that.
losing the entire shipment.
Also, no spoilers, please. But the other three, I think I enjoyed the first one most because it's interesting to see how Thrawn rose through the ranks. And
You're not
the other
giving
two,
the
were,
Force enough
I enjoy
control.
reading them. I always enjoy
I'm
Timothy
giving
Zahns
it all the
writing. It
control
just
I
doesn't
can.
feel
I
like
just
they
don't have the
change
proper
anything.
techniques down yet.
You can learn it. I learned it, and I never had any of the self-defense training you got when you were growing up on Alderaan.
Gavin, I never got into Warhammer, so I don't think
What's
I'd be
wrong?
very good at making a Warhammer video.
The Empire just pulled a three-prong hit and fade on 3 systems in the Sluice.
I'm just going to focus on Heir to the Empire
Someplace
for now,
called the Fash,
and
and
I've got a
too
few ideas for
unpronounceable.
other stuff as well.
You're up to something. I can feel it. Something big, something
Berserker of
dangerous.
Isengard.
How bad was the damage?
Berserker is never
nearly
late.
as bad as it could have been, but
He
all
arrives
3
precisely
systems
when he
are
means
pretty
to.
shook up.
I can imagine. Let me guess. Mon Mothma wants me to go out there and assure them that the New Republic really
Yeah, it does.
is able and willing to protect them.
We know that
Chewie's
Thrawn
getting
had
the Vulcan prepped now.
a tough time
You're not going alone, are you?
mingling with
After
the other
Vivisari?
Imperial officers who
Oh,
hated him
don't
because he's an
worry.
alien. But this in the book,
There's
you
a
actually get to
20-ship
see more of
convoy
that.
going out to assess the damage. Plus Wedge and Rogue Squadron. It'll be safe enough.
That's what
Hello,
we said
Ho.
about
Yes, I
Vivisari.
have
I'd better come
read
along.
plenty of
Well,
Legends books. I can't
actually,
say I've read all of
You
them,
can't.
why
but I
not?
have read
Because the Bafashi don't like Jedi.
a lot of them.
The story is that some of their Jedi went bad during the Clone Wars and really mangled things before they were stopped.
It wasn't just Bafash either. Some of those dark Jedi escaped and made trouble throughout the Sluice sector. One even got as far as Dagobah before he was caught.
Dagobah?
That's right.
Yeah, my
Why?
knowledge of Warhammer is very
No
limited,
reason.
so
We can
I don't think
discuss
it'd be very
history
good for
later.
me to make a video
The
based
sooner we
based
get
on something
going, the sooner
based
we
on a
can get
setting I
this
don't
over
know.
with.
Right.
But by
I'll
the
get my
sounds
travel
of
bag and
what you
give
guys
Winter
are
some
talking about, that there
instructions.
are other good
Meet you
videos
at
out
the
there.
ship.
I don't like it.
Don't worry. She'll be safe. Look, I know how protective you're feeling towards her these days, but you can't always have her big brother standing
Who
over
do I
her.
like more as a character, Eli
Actually,
Fanti or Mara
we've
Jade?
never figured out which one of us is older.
Ooh.
The best thing you can do for her right now is what you're already doing. You make her a Jedi,
So
and she'll be able to handle anything the
I would have
Imperials
to say Mara
throw at
Jade,
her.
I suppose
but that
so.
might also
Be
because
careful.
it's not that I don't
Hey,
like Eli
it's
Vantu.
me.
I really like the character of Eli Vantu. It's just that
Dagobah.
Mara Jade is a character I've known for longer, and
This is Skywalker. I'd like my X-wing
basically
prepped
since the
for
book
lunch
was
in
released.
1 hour.
when I was a kid, so I guess I kind of grown up with Mara Jade. There we go, that's chapter 9. And let's give it I'll pause it there. I did feel like I should dedicate this particular chapter to Dave Prowse and Jeremy Bulloch. I was lucky enough to meet both of them a long time ago. Both of them were great to meet. They passed away between chapter 9 and 10, and I thought I wanted to acknowledge what they've done. The cover art for chapter 10. Hold on, if I refresh the page, we'll get that up. I did actually, one of my early streams was putting this together. You can check back. Gavin, I was probably at that con as well, because Cardiff isn't far away from where I live. I do remember him going. I was scrolling back up because I missed some of what the conversations happening here. Okay. Nice. Probably bumped into me at the convention as well. Sadly, that it doesn't happen anymore. Not because of COVID, but because the showmasters messed up the how they run their con. But never mind. I met Dave Prowse on my 13th birthday. He was doing a signing in Bristol, and the guys in the shop knew me and knew it's my birthday, so they said to they were closing the shop for an hour before he was doing his signing. They said to come half an hour before the signing, and then they introduced me and I got to chat with him for ages, and that was quite a unique birthday. And Jeremy Bulloch I met at a convention in Milton Keynes, and I've got a picture of him signed, and he signed it, "You're Next," which I thought was great. If I could meet any Star Wars actor, I'd like to have met Carrie Fisher. I'm disappointed that I never got that chance. She did do a convention over here when The Force Awakens was... So they were filming Force Awakens, and then Harrison Ford had his accident, so they had to pause filming for a while. But rather than fly back to America or somewhere else, she stayed here and did a convention in London. And it would have been nice to have met her then, but unfortunately she was far too expensive for me to be able to meet. What did I ask Dave Prowse? I don't remember. I was 13, and that was a long time ago now. I just remember that I really enjoyed talking to him, and his wife was there, and he talked about Star Wars and being Darth Vader. I have to admit, it was a little bit scary because I knew he was Darth Vader. But then once he actually started speaking and he was just such a nice, friendly guy, it was kind of eased it out. How many Star Wars actors have I met? So, obviously I've met those two. I met Billy D. Williams. He was really nice. I met Ray Park several times. Last time I met Ray Park, I was cosplaying as Emperor Palpatine, and it's just before Christmas at a convention, so I wished him a Merry Sithmas, and the entire room that was there heard and started laughing, because it was for a photo shoot, so that there was people queuing up to have photos with him, and he got into character as well, and said it was good to see me, good to see you, Master, and all that kind of stuff. I can't remember exactly what he said. We had the photo and we posed, and then walked away, turned back and said Merry Sithmas in my best Emperor voice, and he said thank you, Master, and then all the people watching just started laughing, which was great. Who else have I met? I met the voice of Ezra and Zeb from Rebels. Both of them were really nice. Who else have I met? I have to give some more thought. I know I've met more than that. I almost met Ian McDermott, but that didn't quite work out. Yeah, anyway, good memories. And yes, I do cosplay as well. If you go back to chapter 6 in the Bimasari market, I used some pictures of cosplayers. There's a Commander Shepard in the marketplace. That was me. Actually, I haven't met Warwick. He was at a convention I went to over a year ago in Birmingham, and I walked past his table, but he had such a massive queue that I thought I'm probably going to spend more time. I was only going to be there for a few hours. I thought I'm going to spend so much time in the queue to meet him that I wouldn't get to see anything else. So I didn't go meet him then. I was at I don't know if it really counts as meeting them, but I did go to I was at Celebration London in 2016, and I went to the Rebels panel, which had Dave Filoni, Sam Witwer, the voice of Sabine, on stage, and of course Warwick was on stage for that as well. But I didn't actually talk to them. I would have liked to have done, but, and I thought of a really good question to ask Dave Filoni after the panel was over, which is the way it goes. William, depends on the complexity of the episode. Also depends on whether or not I've injured my knee, which I have done at the moment, so I can't do any motion capture or sit at the computer for very long. I've been tinkering away at chapter 12. Yeah, that was her. Alright, I think we should get on with chapter 10. Coco, it's not ended. I just paused it in between chapter 9 and 10 because we were discussing Star Wars actors. Sam Witwer does a great Darth Maul. Actually, one of the things that happened at that panel was, before I get started with chapter 10, one of the things at the Rebels panel was Warwick and Sam decided to impersonate each other's characters. So Sam did Wicket and Warwick did Maul, and they were both really good at doing each other's characters. So you should look up London Celebration Rebels panel on YouTube, and you should be able to find that. Somebody X, good reference to the Hand of Thrawn duology there. I'll release chapter 12 when it's done. I've only just started working on it, but I've also got a bad knee because I've injured it somehow. I don't know how I injured it, but I can't do any motion capture or sit at the computer for very long. So that makes working on chapter 12 quite difficult. But once my knee's better, I will get on to it better. But I have started working on it. I've only released chapter 11 a week ago. You should look up there's a clip on YouTube of Sam Witwer doing the Kenobi yell. That was fun to actually watch him say the lines. When I say, I mean yell the lines. Anyway, I'm going to get started with Chapter 10. So, this was also a lot of fun to do. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, dedicated to Dave Prowse. So this shot of the ships appearing was another thing that I streamed the making of.
As you can see, the place is something of a mess.
Getting the lighting right
How many
here
people
was
died in the attack?
very difficult.
In this system, a few hundred. Not nearly as many as there could have been.
It's harder to get the
I
lighting
wonder
right
why.
than anything else.
So does everyone else. It's been the second most
I'm
popular
quite pleased
question.
with the way it
Let me
turned out.
guess. The first is why do they even bother pounding on Bafash in the first place?
I hurt my knee
You've got it.
doing
It's
something.
not like they didn't have better
I don't
targets
know
to
what.
choose from. We've got the slowest
Nothing
man
quite as
shipyards about
exciting as
30 light years
basketball.
away. A few hundred ships there at any given time. So why here?
Matt finished
Sluis Van is
voicing
pretty heavily
Han
defended,
and Wedge.
with our star cruisers and their own battle stations. Any Imperial leader with a gram of sense would
He said
think
there's a
twice
20
before
ship
tackling
convoy,
it.
so I kind of
You okay?
spent some time thinking
I was
about
just
what kind
remembering-
of ships it would be. It would be a mixture of
Well,
warships to show
When Darth Vader
military
was
might
having
and
us
of course
tortured on Bespin,
transports and freighters bringing
Luke knew it was happening from
medical
far
supplies
away.
and all that kind
There
of
were
stuff.
rumors that the Emperor and Vader could do that too.
Yeah, but they're both dead.
What if the Imperials have found another Dark Jedi?
You talking about C'baoth?
What?
Jorah C'baoth.
I don't have any
Who
licensing
was a
rights
Jedi
to
master
this
back in
series.
pre-Empire
I'm
days.
just doing it,
Disappeared
hoping
before
that
the Clone
Disney
Wars.
don't complain.
I heard a rumor that he surfaced again and set up shop on Jomark.
Right. And he was just
I
sitting around doing
don't think we're
nothing
going to
during
see
the rebellion.
Mandalorian Season 3
I just
until
report him, General. I don't make him up.
2022, because it takes them a while to
Wedge,
film it. Yeah, the Return of the Jedi jump scene is was the inspiration for it. That's the kind of look I wanted to go for, was the way all the space shots in Return of the Jedi looked.
They've learned. This time they're jamming our communications.
Sounds like you've run into these guys before.
We've met. And really figured out what they want.
So far I've not really run into any trouble apart from the automated. Occasionally get the automated copyright music
Chewie
detection,
probably
but that's
discovered
not
the jamming
Lucasfilm
and put two
directly,
and two
that's
together.
YouTube. And I've had to fiddle with the video and change things around
Stay
and then
sharp.
upload it again
They may
until I
try
get
to
it right.
blink us.
Wait a minute. There's something wrong. I can't feel Chewie on the ship.
He's probably just too far away.
Hang on a minute.
I don't know if anyone at
The
Lucasfilm
underside
has seen it.
swivel blaster.
I've had
Why
no
isn't he using it?
contact.
Good question.
If anyone has seen it and they
Simple
liked
answer.
it, well, I hope they
That's
liked
not
it.
the Falcon.
What?
I can't believe it. These guys dug up another working YT-1300 freighter from somewhere.
They must really want you bad.
I plan to do.
I'm starting to get that impression myself.
I'd like to do. It'd be great to do the whole trilogy, but at the moment I'm just going to focus on the
Got
first
any
book.
good ideas?
Is there
Of
any
course,
way
it
we
doesn't
can
tell a
disable
complete
that ship?
story, so
Lots of ways.
to get the
Problem
complete
is, you
story.
have to be inside for most of them. The outside shielding isn't great, but it blocks hand blasters just fine.
Will it block this?
All right, but I'll go.
We all go. We know they want at least one of us alive. Otherwise, they'd just have flown overhead and blasted us.
Yeah, okay. Give me the lightsaber. Ready? Go!
Well, Cameron, I shall await that email from Dave Filoni offering me a job. Having that Falcon come down behind him,
What did you do?
Cut through the coolant
behind
lines
Han
to
there
main
was
drive.
a lot of fun. Getting all the dirt
So,
to come
now
flying
what?
up as it
Now we collect our escort
impacted
and
it
get
on the
out of here.
surface.
Escort?
Acknowledge to Rogue Leader. You're clear, Wedge.
Why just
And of course, the
disable
little
ship
cameo
when you
that
can
I've been
disable
planning
it and
for
send a distress
about a
signal
year
at the
before I
same
actually got a
time?
chance to do it.
You know, sometimes I still amaze myself.
I started thinking, obviously the Tron trilogy was written first,
and
But
we are doing everything to find out
yes, that
how
was
this
me
happened.
voicing Rogue
That's what
9.
you said about 4 days ago.
You might be surprised, between the council members, staff, crew, and other personnel, over 200 people have direct access to the mission itinerary. Tracking through all
So yeah,
that is going to
I've been
take
planning that
time.
little cameo for a long time.
Great. May I ask
Because
what
the
you
Throne
suggest
trilogy is
we
written
do in the
first,
meantime?
so I thought,
You have your escort.
I know other
We had
authors
them
have
4 days ago
tried to
too.
connect their stories to it.
Commander Antilles
And
Rogue
of course,
Squadron are
Michael
fine in
Stackpole
space, but
and
this kind of stuff
Timothy
isn't
Zahn
their
are good
area
friends
of
and do like to
expertise.
reference each other's work.
Under the
And do
circumstances,
cameos and
perhaps it would
crossovers
be best
and all
if
that kind
you
of
simply
stuff.
brought Councillor Organa solo back here where she could be properly protected.
I'd love to. The question is whether she'll
And
be
of
any
course,
safer on
we know
Coruscant.
that Corran
The Imperials
is
are
still
getting
in Rogue
information
Squadron
out
at the
that
time
place.
of the Thrawn trilogy.
They might just as easily get their agents in.
The security arrangements I've set up on Coruscant are quite
Because the X-Wing
capable
books,
of handling
which
anything
create the
the
character set
Imperials
before
might try.
the Thrawn
Yeah.
trilogy, but we know that he's still in it.
I'm sure they
So
are,
he
Admiral.
would have been there
Until
at
we
that
know
particular
more,
battle.
Do whatever
So having
you feel
the
is
cameo made
necessary.
perfect sense to me.
Coruscant out.
Flippy, yeah, that was Corran, and he is Rogue 9.
Right.
It's just me. You finished talking with Akbar already?
It
From that
wasn't
moment
much of
when
a conversation.
Leia puts her hand
You
on
do have a way with
Leia's
people.
shoulder, it was a nice little
This one's not
moment
my fault.
as well.
For all his military genius, Akbar just isn't a good politician. And with Phalia nipping at his heels,
Yeah, well, if he's trying to keep Leia away from the military, he's got the wrong end of the blaster. Half of them are already convinced that Leia's the guy to listen to.
unfortunately, he often is. Charisma and ambition. Dangerous combination.
Dangerous?
Just a feeling. A sense that Phalia has his eye on more than just Akbar's job as Supreme Commander.
I suppose you're anxious to get back to Coruscant?
You sound like you're not.
Well, it's what everyone expects you to do. So maybe we ought to do something else.
I have commitments back on Coruscant.
You've got commitments to yourself, too. Not to mention the twins.
So I'm just so busy watching the
Can't
video,
be
I
out of
forgot to
touch.
talk
There's
again,
too much happening.
which is an easy habit to get into.
How about some place that has a diplomatic station? You'll be able to get all of the Coruscant news there.
And how do we make
So
sure the
even
local
though
ambassador
Corran
doesn't give us away?
Wasn't in the
Who
book,
says the ambassador has to know?
if the X-Wing
We've
books
gotta
had been
receive
written
her on the
first,
Falcon.
I'm
can
pretty
tap into
sure
the
Timothy
transmission
Zahn
on
would
our
have
own.
put Corran in
Only if we can get hold of the
the
encrypt
Empire.
scheme.
There's slicers running around who eat government encrypt codes for breakfast.
I don't suppose you'd know any of them. Do I get to know where we're going?
We need someone we can trust and has his own list of illegal slicers.
You don't mean Lando?
Who else?
Why do I suddenly have a bad feeling about this?
And they're off to see Lando, which will be in chapter 12. Yeah, Timothy Zahn and Michael Stackpole are really good friends, and I can't remember which book it was, but there's in one of the introduction things they talk about how they often thank each other in the acknowledgements of their books, where they've been collaborating and making sure that their cameos line up with their characters. The state of their characters should line up with each other and all that kind of stuff. And I met them at DragonCon, and you could tell they were really good friends there as well. They were on a panel, but they were talking they were sat next to each other, and they were talking when they were answering questions. They were sort of interacting with each other in a way that made me think, yeah, these two guys really, they've known each other for a long time, and they're good friends. Daniel, so far my progress of chapter 12, which is when we see those things, I've already animated it. Because I didn't have to do any motion capture for those sequences, and I was already started on it before I injured my leg. So I'm quite happy with the way the planet's looking and how Nomad City looks. If you check last week's stream, there's a link to it here. You can see I got started animating the AT-AT that well, the idea that if I animate one, I can just duplicate it enough times, 40 times, and then have the city on top of it. So if you check that out, you can see how I got started. And I modeled a shield ship a long time ago, which I've brought into this, and I'm really happy with the way it looks. I hope you guys will be too. So, as I mentioned earlier on in the stream, I have injured my knee, and I can't sit at the computer for long periods of time because I'm trying to keep it rested so it heals faster. So I'm going to end the stream here, so that I can continue to rest my leg. But as always, it's been great to see everyone. I hope you've enjoyed listening to me ramble on about chapters 9 and 10. I'll be back next week. I only got one chapter to do commentary on, so I may save that for another time, or I'll figure out what I'm going to stream later on, or closer to the next week. But yeah, I'll be back next Monday. Hope to see you all then. Please continue to share the chapters, spread the word. All helps. We reached 21,000 subscribers yesterday, which is quite exciting. Thank you all for kind words about healing. I'll just stick my leg in a tank of Bacta, I think. Maybe that will help. So yeah, I'm going to end the stream now. May the force be with all of you. See you all next week.